Hello, this is Robert Guillaume. Thank you for joining me on Your Money, Manage It. I will be discussing principles that will empower you to manage your finances made easy. Thank you for joining me. In our last episode, we discussed the 'tis the season aspects of holiday spending. What comes about when we overextend ourselves and so forth. Today, we're going to be discussing how to avoid that aspect of overspending in the holidays. As I mentioned, as we previously discussed, holiday overspending can happen to anyone. It can happen to the wealthiest families. It can and those not so wealthy, but it leads to negative personal and financial issues, and it happens through extending too far our credit card debt. We can extend ourselves through borrowing from sources that we really don't need to borrow from and having to pay that back. We find ourselves sometimes with overdrafts on our checking account or debit accounts. And then we have long-term expensive repayments following our holiday spending. All of this can personally lead to buildup of stress. It can lead to family tension. It can lead to depression and anxiety, which we'll be discussing in the next episode with a special guest. So how can we avoid these issues that arise, these financial issues that arise during the holidays? Well, first, we're airing right now, prior to Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and I would ask that you would please, as an audience, take this information very seriously. I think the first thing that needs to happen is you need to have a holiday financial plan. You might say, well, we know our finances and so forth. No, I'm serious. You need to plan what you're spending in the holidays. You can break that down into simply a holiday budget and then stick with it. You can build your holiday budget based on factors such as what do we want to spend for entertainment and eating out, dining out, those things. What do we want to spend on friends or associates like our bosses and so forth? What do we want to spend for family? Do we want to buy for everyone in the family? Some families draw names. Some families, will only buy for the young children, and the adults, no, we're not going to do that anymore. So have a plan. It's also important, this sounds funny, but have a plan for holiday spending with your spouse. My wife and I set limits for one another. We don't ignore one another at Christmas. No. But we set limits. I'll spend so much on my wife, and she's going to spend the same amount from me. Very simple. And that way, there's no stress on, what am I going to get her, and what's she going to get me, and how much is... No. We're not doing that. Do not outrun your budget. Once you've established a holiday budget, stick with it. And make sure you have a total spending amount in that budget. We're going to only spend X number of dollars, and that includes I'm buying for you, honey, and you're buying for me. We're buying for the grandkids, or we're buying for our kids. Regardless of how that plays out, young or old, have a budget for the holidays and know what you're totally going to spend. And here's an important fact. Many times we have two incomes in the family, husband's working, wife's working. That is still irrelevant of the fact you need a holiday budget. That might increase the total amount you want to spend or can spend, but you need to sit down and say, what are we spending for all of these things this holiday so that we don't overextend our financial position? Now, in 2022, I'm going to throw a little mustard on the sandwich because we're facing an enormous inflationary rate in 2022. This must be taken into account. It's just the other day, I do a lot of the shopping for groceries because I actually, quite honestly, do a lot of the cooking. Came back from the store, I told my wife, you just would not believe. First of all, is it even on the shelf? But secondly, what it used to cost, let's say, in a 2-week shopping spree somewhere, $250 or whatever, that's jumped to like $300 or $400. That's not an exaggeration. That's just shopping. So inflation is taking a major financial toll. And during these inflationary times, we need to realize that items, including food, will be higher in cost than we have seen in well over a decade. So if you're planning to entertain, budget for inflation. If you're planning to dine out, budget for inflation. Well, my daughter and our son-in-law, they were working and said just the other day, just 2 days ago, they were going to just stop and grab something quick. I'm not going to mention an establishment for lunch. And it was a very simple, quick, fast food lunch. She said, we're not doing that again. $24 for a very simple fast food lunch. So inflation is hitting all of us in multiple ways. So when it comes to planning for your family dinners, your travel, cost of fuel and other expenses, maybe it's flight, maybe it's another way of getting to locations, but it's all gone up in cost. Spending on gifts, we need to have a budget based on our financial ability to meet the possible costs. I mentioned holiday travel. Holiday travel has become expensive. And be aware that using your credit card for airline travel, for hotels, for meals, for gasoline, all of that will have a residual effect, and that residual effect is you have to pay the bill. And as I have mentioned in other episodes, it's sound financial management to pay your credit card bill off in full when the statement arrives. So again, ladies and gentlemen, know your limits. Spend within your financial means. Now here's another point. We all get trapped in the holiday season with the possibility of impulse spending. The merchants know exactly how to put items in a store, whether it's a department store or whatever. They know exactly where to put items to catch your eyes, to catch your attention. Oh, look, wouldn't this be great for little Billy? Oh, look, wouldn't Aunt Susie look really good in this? She'd love this. Impulse spending traps many, many consumers. Avoid that. Know what you're going into a store for. That's another good point. Have a good list. Have a good idea. We're going to spend X, Y, Z on these kids or on the grandkids or on our kids, whatever, and stay with that. And please, don't try to outdo others. Don't try to outspend other family members or friends when it comes to gifts. Spend what you can spend and stay within that budget. Base your holiday spending on what you truly can afford. And here's another, I think, sound financial principle. If possible, pay in cash. Take the cash with you that you know you can spend, and you know you have it to spend. That invisible credit card money that's in your wallet, as I've mentioned in other programs, is not your money. It's a loan. It's a loan with your credit card institution. So when you spend $100, $500, $1,000 over the holiday season on your credit card, you have literally just borrowed $100 or $500 or $1,000. And if it's not paid back on that first statement, there is high interest, 20+%, and fees. So please, if possible, I know you say, well, it's risky to carry cash. Well, be aware you don't want to carry $5,000 in your back pocket and, go certain places and have risks. But cash is not a bad option. You know what you have to spend. So keep your spending visible. When you have the credit card, it's invisible, and that can put you into a tailspin come January. The financial horrors of Black Friday and Cyber Monday, once again, the experts, they have it figured out down to the minutia details. They know how to get the consumer to buy and where to target. And these holiday shopping days are purposefully designed to put people into spending frenzies. I have heard, and you probably have too, horror stories of individuals literally getting into confrontations in stores on Black Friday at 6 in the morning. It's ludicrous. But some do see these times as enjoyable. Mothers go with daughters or whatever, and they go shopping. And I'm sure there are good times, and there is fun to be had shopping on Black Friday and other times. But these days can be extremely stressful. They can have a buildup of anxiety, coupled with the fact people aren't sleeping the night before. They're going through the ads, and they're cutting out this and cutting out that, saying, oh, we're going to go shopping for this, and this is a store that's going to carry it. And then they're out the door at 5 or 5:30 in the morning, and they're hurried. And so confrontations can occur, and most certainly it can lead to financial overspending, easy money, credit cards, and bypassing what you initially thought you were going to spend. That can triple, double, so forth. So even when shopping on these days, whether in stores or online, stay within a holiday budget. Stay within your financial means. Advertisers, chain stores, etc., are experts in the art of enticement and impulse buying and trapping you into spending. Quite honestly, ladies and gentlemen, these large merchants and advertisers and so forth, they do not care that now you have a credit card debt over $2,000 above your ability to repay the balance in full. They have your money, and that becomes your problem. Advertising, ladies and gentlemen, as you probably know, but it's a science. Literally, it is a science. Professionals have studied the data. They have studied the psychic. They have studied human nature and all of the factors that motivate us to spend. They know exactly how to entice us to spend and spend and spend some more. Stand firm on your financial plan. Stand firm on your holiday budget. So very briefly, in summary, I will share this. First, have a holiday spending budget. Secondly, keep that budget within your financial means. Thirdly, use cash whenever it's possible. Fourthly, only spend what you know you can pay in full when the bill comes due. Fifth, avoid impulse spending. And lastly, please don't fall for every advertising trap that is enticing. I hope this helps with you outlining your holiday spending and staying within what you can afford. But have a wonderful holiday season. By no means do we say don't spend or you can't buy this. No, no, no. Some of us in this world are fortunate to be able to spend without many limits. Others of us, we need to stay within the confines of what we can financially manage. And even those who are a little wealthier find themselves sometimes in this overspending trap with a debt load that they say, oh my goodness, we didn't realize we spent this much. So follow the basic principles that I've outlined. I think you'll have a happier financial holiday season. And I do want to wish you a very happy holiday season. If you have any questions you would like to submit to this program, it's easily done. Please submit those questions to officialrguillaume@gmail.com. And thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me on Your Money, Manage It. My book, How to Manage Personal Finances Made Easy and Avoiding the College Debt Trap, can be found on Amazon and the bookshop. I will also include the link in the description of this episode. Find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, and join me again next Monday. Thank you for listening.